bits and pieces there that shouldn't be there, but for the most part there's
Oh no.
for the most part there's stuff around here. It ended up there because that's where it gets used the most, or because that's just how a farm works. A farm is all about, I don't want this job to take me longer than it has to, so I'm gonna leave whatever right here. And so I mean, I guess it's just changing that standard. I feel like we need to make it more. We need to come up with the farm version of lean. We can't just take from what Hugh already knows, because that one piece flow doesn't really help us here. Like, stuff gets harvested out there and it gets washed in there, and then we can package it kind of at any point. Yeah, we can do it all right then. I just feel like the one piece flow, that whole U-shaped thing that he kept on coming back to, it's very applicable when you're making the same part every single day in the same spot. All you do is see this one little work zone, that's fine, but if we put all of our time into making these one little work zones, nobody works in one spot for all that long. Nobody works. I mean, you know, you're always moving with harvesting, or we're always moving around with the hoop house. There's no, like what you've done with the pack out, that's pretty lean, because now we have all of our tools in a general spot. I feel like that's as far as that improvement needs to go.
Really?
Yeah.
So do you know where every single tool in that pack out is?
No, I don't.
Yeah. Okay. So it could be improved in some way, shape, or form that maybe would help people know every tool that's in there, and where they go back, because that's kind of important too, right? I mean, if you put a hammer back maybe in one of the boxes, and you know, I'm thinking, oh, I put it in the tool tote thing at the top, then I'm wasting time that we were complaining about earlier. I'm wasting time looking for a hammer.
Right.
Yeah, certain things is definitely, like labeling where tools go, that's definitely super useful, but I just don't think that we need to like go over the top with it, because there are some, like, it's not like everything we're doing here needs to be trashed and redone. Like, I think that a lot of the stuff we're doing already is perfectly fine, but yeah, we can improve on some things, just not like improve it to the point where it, like, I don't know, it's like too improved, if that makes sense.
Well, and you want to talk about like all these improvements and this ingenuity that we're trying to have with like the radish cart thingy that we made. Okay, I used that last time I harvested radishes. I didn't notice a significant difference in my like ability to harvest radishes, but I did notice that in order to get the cart off of the radishes, I had to painstakingly drag it backwards the way I had come, so that it didn't run over any more radishes, or just pick it up and walk it away from the bed.
So that's just more work to...
Which was ultimately more work in the end for me than anything else. So a lot of this seems like it's maybe we take one step forward, but then we take 2 steps backwards because we're trying too hard.
And like the one piece flow thing, I understand where Hugh's coming from. Like, if you're one person making a bunch of parts, like you grab everything and then you're done. You grab everything and you're done over and over and over again. You don't have to wait for anything. But when Mommy and I were doing the packaging, I would have to wait for the stuff to be dry, and then I'm just standing around doing nothing.
Okay.
And like they said, there's some things like the labeling and the U-shaped drying table that don't sound like bad ideas, but we weren't focusing on that. We were focusing on making weird go-kart thingies that weren't ultimately useful.
Okay.
That's alright. What I'm gathering just from this conversation is it feels like that we need to just focus on what we're trying to improve more.
We need to focus on like the bigger problems that are like immediately bothering us and immediately like hindering our...
Like I like the focusing on I love the idea of when we're talking about lean, like the label for the ladder and like finding like labels and all that stuff's grand. I think what we've all kind of agreed and come down to is what we're choosing to waste our time. So like the whole arm thing, I would have never really cared if my arm moved a mile.
Especially if it was gonna have to
I feel
make us
like-
walk more.
Yeah,
reduce
so I think heart's in the right place. We just need to be more aware of what we're going to decide what we're making improvements on. I guess if that makes sense.
Good idea, but we need to be like more choosy, like more,
Yeah.
I don't know.
It doesn't need to be applied to everything.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it needs to be like, some of the stuff we have good processes for already, and yeah, little bits can be
Make sure the sound is. He's getting the sound. That's the most important thing.
Little improvements definitely could be made. You
Mhm.
know, oh, let's throw an extra fan in here that cuts our drying time in a little bit. Like
Mhm.
that's the kind of minor improvements that I think work. I think when we do big overhauls to go, oh well, maybe let's try it this entire way, and then we just wasted a day
Mm-hmm.
instead of just doing it the way we normally do and keeping production the same. We lose progress in the end.
Yeah, like I think it's better to just change little things about a process that we already have than just to completely trash that and go to a different one.
You know, for you, Bree, it sounds like on the weeding thing. I think that's what we were talking about, right? Going into the tote and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Your biggest hang up is what it sounds like to me. Your biggest hang up is that it's going to create more walking time for you.
Well, so
Am I correct in that though?
yes, but walking time is the thing, and then we were all about the whole idea was that we're wasting
Yes.
less energy to do
Right.
this. Okay, well it's gonna take me more energy to pick the toad up and go, and it's also gonna take me more time, and it just seems unreasonable.
So that's what I'm hearing again. Is you're going back to the wasted time on the walking
Yeah.
and the time it would take you to do the smaller tote, transporting the smaller tote, however,
The
right?
waste of motion or transportation or whatever you want to
Yeah.
call it, it's definitely a waste, and we didn't come up with a way to fix it, and then we kept talking about it.
Okay.
Also, the whole like your arm goes a mile extra doing that whole time. I don't know what it is in perspective. I mean, I'm sure my arms move. I don't know,
A mile a day.
more than that. I
Yeah.
mean, 10 miles a day, 15 miles a day. Like my arms move a lot during the day, even when I'm just moving my mouse a little bit. Like that all adds up.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, 1 mile might not seem like that much. Like, am I move my arms a mile while I'm at work? Like, that doesn't seem so bad. I mean, if you could somehow get that into time,
Mm-hmm.
put that through a formula so I know how much time that is.
Okay.
Because I mean, their arms move pretty quick.
Mhm.
Bree
And like you
is-
have to move your arms to do that job. It seemed like he was trying to just like eliminate them moving their arms, but that's like the main problem in that job. Like the main focus in that job is to move your arms, and I feel like that's not really the focus that needs to be improved. Like it's like their legs hurting from straddling or their backs hurting from straddling.
Okay.
That's like what needs to be improved. Like back to what I said before, like he's just improving things that don't really need improvement. It seems
Uh-huh.
like. So I feel like it would be a good thing. Like lean would work if we just focused on things that are a problem and need to be improved.
Okay.
And then also I think when we'll hit the solution, and then we've kind of said this, we're pushed past the solution.
Uh-huh.
And
Overdone.
yeah, like making that cart for harvesting, it's a cool idea and it was really fun to make, but Mommy pointed out that there's a thing that you pedal and you know you're hanging over it and you know your head's
Yeah.
resting, something like that. That sounded like the solution to me. That sounded like, okay, cool, let's work to get one of those,
That's financial.
and then it'll solve that problem. So I mean, I just feel like there are already improvements out there, and you just work
Well,
towards them.
Or let's
And
look up a WikiHow or something, like some sort of blueprint for that so we can make it ourselves
Yeah,
instead
the-
of trying to
so-
invent random
Yeah, so
stuff.
the thing that Hugh and I were talking about, and we've been talking about for 6 months, is something that these German kids, engineers, built. It exists in the world, but it does not exist marketably. So we would have to build it ourselves. And I have their plans and stuff like that. They're just not very detailed. And we'd have to go and buy like the metal and everything that would need to be bought. Plus there's some logistics because there is a pedaling motion involved. So I'm not a bike expert, so we would just have to figure out how a bike works. And it sounds simple, but when you're actually implementing it, because you're now taking this part of the bike, right? And you got to take it off, and now you got to make it work so those wheels work while you're laying down and not up on top of it anymore. So we just have to figure all of that stuff out. So I think we were just trying to come up with something, because you pointed out, Allie, that the problem with the weeding is not, or the harvesting is not the arm motions and stuff like that. You feel like you can't get past that. But we first of all, we did kind of show you a machine that does get you past the arm motion with harvesting, right? We showed you that machine that has the conveyor and it brings it up, and so maybe there are ideas or something like that. But I think that also, so it sounds like maybe that cart, if it had been lower built or whatever, we were using what we had here
Yeah.
and just trying the first thing. The cart's too high, right? The wheels are too high, and those casters, they didn't work in our dirt and stuff like that. But the idea of it
Sure, the
was
idea
kind of
behind
like,
it.
oh, okay. Well,
But
I
then
don't.
it also didn't go anywhere from where we left it. We
Okay.
tried it didn't work, and then we didn't do anything with it, and we
and
walked
then we
away.
made a new invention for it.
Well, no, it wasn't a new invention. It was just
It's
a
a
different.
different
It was a
one.
different thing. We were just because we had Hugh for 4 days, and so
Yeah,
we're trying to
cram it
bunch.
all
We're just
in.
trying to cram a ton of stuff in, and we don't know what's gonna click and what's not gonna click. Like the 3S time that we ended up doing Thursday morning, I think was the first day. That was huge. That for Deb, that a light bulb came on, and she saw what can happen when things get a little bit set up a little differently and organized and stuff like that. I've seen it with you guys cleaning up the BCS and the lawnmower every day. I've seen that. I see that it works better now and it looks better, and that's clutter because it used to be clutter just in my mind when I would walk by and see it all messy and dirty and everything else. And so especially with the lawnmower, because the lawnmower will get clogged underneath, like you pointed out. And so it got you thinking about, hey, what's a way for us to get this thing up so we can wash it and stuff like that. And when Deb told me about that, I was like, oh man, we've got the power washer. What can we do to get that over there? And like that would be kind of cool and
Yeah,
stuff like
we have
that.
those wooden things that have like the little lips on the side
Uh-huh.
too, so I figured we could.
Yeah, those floor joists.
You still have the
manufactured floor
car
joists.
ramps? The auto ramps?
No, I think he's talking about the wood.
Yeah,
He's
the
talking about
wood,
the
no,
I
joists.
was
wood.
asking if
Oh,
we still have
Yes, I
those.
think we still have.
Because
have
would that
those.
not work?
I wouldn't know.
I'm just
I
saying.
have no idea.
That was my idea, is those little portable auto ramps.
I don't know
you
how high we need to get it. You know, I mean, if you only get it this high, is that? I mean, now you're really bending over, and I get all this water.
Either
spilling.
way, that would be because how I do it now is I have to like hold it up
Right.
while I'm like one-handed trying
Yeah.
to. So anything to have it stay up by itself, I wouldn't mind bending down there. I just you only.
Right.
Same with the BCS because when I hold that up and like pull the little flap up, it doesn't want to stay up at all, and so maybe if we could think of something to hold that up too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of what I'm hearing is that we were going a lot of different directions, and maybe you felt like where we were going, we were so spread out that we just tried the first iteration of something and then
It wasn't
went on to
narrowed
the
in
next thing.
specifically to what we need.
It was what? I'm sorry.
It wasn't like narrowed into specifically the problem that we need to fix.
Okay. Okay.
I just wanted to make while we're still thinking about
Sure.
it. I like a lot of stuff definitely did get done while Hugh was here. I don't know how much of that was lean and how much of it was just him saying, well, let's do it.
Yeah.
Like the
'cause
production
a lot
building,
of-
you guys have been wanting to do that, and it seemed like he didn't really do anything special. He just finished
Did
what you
it.
guys
Yeah.
had started.
Yeah, we told him
That's
a lot
something
more.
special, to tell the truth.
We had there's a lot of projects around here and
Yes.
stuff like that, but I mean I can prove a point with myself. I mean, before Hugh even got here, I said the previous night I want to make a fire pit,
Mm-hmm.
and then the next day I worked for a few hours and made the fire pit happen. I cleaned
Yeah.
everything out and I got it all working and
Right.
everything because I just did it.
You just did it.
Hugh didn't need to tell me to just do it. I just
Yeah.
did it. So like I mean that doesn't seem like a lean process. And I mean you said when we were out there, you were like, I'm going to use Hugh's slogan, just do it.
Yeah.
I mean that's Nike's
Let's
slogan.
try it.
Yeah.
I think it was let's try it.
Oh,
Is that
okay.
what it is? Let's try it.
Something like that. I don't
Something.
know.
I've
It was
just,
just a
I've
lot
been
of
saying just
flying
try
by
it.
the
I
seat
don't
Just
know
try
if
it,
it's Hugh's
okay.
thing or not.
Yeah,
I've been saying,
maybe he
just
did.
try
Yeah,
it.
just do it, kind of thing.
Just
yeah.
try it.
Go ahead, Bree. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, he was just telling us to do things. So I mean, we just kind of were like, oh, instead of he got us to go, oh, let's find the solution to why we stopped instead, and that doesn't seem like a lean thing. That just seems like
Let's think
like
about
that
it.
would be what you had to do anyway to
Mhm.
go back to working on it. He just put it in words.
Okay.
Were you gonna add something to that, Bree?
Yeah, you were gonna say something, Bree.
A lot of Hugh's philosophy seems to be let's fly by the seat of our pants, and I'm all about that. But like I said, or like